Oh,
Gary, thank you for pointing that out. Here we are. We were muted for some reason. I have no idea why that happened. But
I think I know where it started.
yeah, I know where it started too. Started with me. I thought I would get fancy here. Anyways, this is the OpenGOTO Community Live, and this is episode 13, Monday. And our topics today, starting off with Jerry, is the sideloading Android APK questions. He says the user got the app to work on their phone and screen sizing issues on a Huawei tablet.
Yeah, so there's been a few questions over the last week or so about side loading the APK in Android because people were trying to do some things with their phone and it wouldn't load off the Google store correctly, or they thought there was a different version and they went out and searched and found a website with APKs that you could download that were directly lifted off of the stores, off the Google store. So the last week we've been talking about that, but we did early on we did offer a sideload APK, but that's no longer a valid version of the code. It's really old, but we do. So you can download it off these websites, but we don't suggest that. But people were able to.
Why, Jerry?
Well, we don't vet that code. We don't know where it came from. I mean, it probably came from the Google store, but we can't say what changes were made to it, if there was a virus added to it or whatever. Internal people can, patch those things with a virus, and you load it down. I don't know how many phone viruses there are or tablet viruses, but it shouldn't be any different than any other virus. But anyway, people can load so what people have been doing is loading this onto their phone and finding that the screen size is not right, okay, because it's not made for a phone. But there are some, and the tablets have had the same problem. So specifically, I wanted to go over and show this picture that Kent sent me on a Huawei tablet. I guess that's how you pronounce it, Huawei. Let me see here. Give me a second. But so the screen size was not right. It was cutting off for some reason on an 8-inch tablet. And most Tab A's, Samsungs, and most brands seem to tablet good, but others do not. I need to bring up my message here. Yeah, Kent.
I'm back.
We got, I still have Gary Palmer's description here. I'll fix it later.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
So let me share my screen now.
I got caught in the matrix.
Can you see that?
Yep.
Now disregard the lat long, but you can see that the screen is cut off. It's a Huawei tablet. You can see the buttons down here are cut off to the right-hand side. You can't see anything to the right or to the bottom down below either. So that's the problem. And so the fix to this is under the settings for display settings. It's called view mode. So apparently some Android distributions, some of the OS distributions have this view settings that don't default to the correct size, so you have to go in and manually change it to make it fit. And that's what this is. What was the fellow's name? Mike Hammer?
Yes.
So he presented this problem to us, and then I suggested he look to see if he could find any settings for that, and he did. So that's what fixed it.
And Dan Dickerson thought it may also be involving being a kind of tablet because they've been locked out of Android, so they've done some Android-like things as well.
Hey, Gary, would you show your screen again? I got distracted here trying to figure out what I'd done wrong.
Oh, you want me
I didn't
to
share your
okay.
screen.
All right.
Yeah, I'm about 2 steps behind everybody.
There you go.
Here we go. There we are.
So you can see, again, like it's on the right-hand side, it's cut off and down below. So it's just showing the upper left corner.
Oh, I see. It's just a screen formatting issue.
Right, exactly. So that's what Mike discovered, that setting for view settings.
I see.
Now, most pretty much all operating systems should have this feature. So that's what, I can't remember the fellow's name who was doing his phone, but he got it to work on his phone in terms of he downloaded the app off the Google Store, and I'd have to go try to find the message thread, but he found it and he loaded it on and it took it. So his phone accepted it, and he was pushing buttons and it seemed like it was working, but the screen was messed up. So if his screen settings were allowed him to resize the ExploreStars app, then it would probably work. But the thing about that app is not designed for a phone for a 5-inch screen or 4-inch screen, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
The buttons are way too small to really use effectively, I think. I mean, it's up to the people, up to customers to figure that out and see if it's good for them to use or not. But that's why we're working on a dedicated app that's not going to have all these different objects on the screen at the same time for a phone app.
So Jerry, Ula Drake in Germany asked, can we show in a video how to install the SDK and how to use it?
The SDK. So yeah, you can download the SDK from our website, and all it is a zip file with a bunch of files in it. There's nothing to really install. It does have the ASCOM driver, which does have an installation, but that's a separate. That's also a separate download you can do just to do the ASCOM driver install. But pretty much everything else is just information and files, source files and documents and things like that that are in the SDK.
So that would be more of a developer show than, you know.
Right. That's a bunch of stuff for anybody that's interested in the details on how the PMC-Eight works in more detail. The programmer's reference manual is available for a separate download off our website, and also the ASCOM drivers in a separate download, and the Indy driver is a separate download. But we combine all that stuff along with all of our other documents all into one zip file. That's what the SDK is.
Okay.
So who do we got with us today? We got Gary Palmer, Ula Drake, Mike Wiesner, Jay Murphy, and Bill Black is on with us today.
John Adler just joined.
Who's that?
Hey, John. John Adler just joined.
Oh, okay.
He has a observatory down at Rodeo that he's built, and has a bed and breakfast.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So, John, feel free to. I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah. Everybody thinks they're watching Gary Palmer's show because I forgot to change the title. Sorry.
So, anyway, John, you probably want to see the Gary Palmer. It was Friday, so you
can watch it.
but I see John does some really great work, astrophotography. You met him.
Darren Drake's on with us right now too.
Scott, you met John up at Yerkes, probably. Potentially, he was one of the volunteers there. All right. So,
Great.
So the next thing I have on my list, what was it, Scott?
Meridian Flip and ExploreStars, difference between point and track modes.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I think last week we talked about the Meridian Flip a little bit during one of our previous broadcasts. I said that the ExploreStars does it automatically, and it does. That's when you're in point mode. So if you're just sitting there in point mode and you're looking at objects in the sky and it gets near the meridian, it's going to flip right at the meridian. But if the little trick is, if you're doing astrophotography, you're going to be in track mode, and if you want to go to track mode, it will just sail right past the meridian and continue to track. So the reason that is because once it's in track mode, it's got a fixed setting for the rate. It's a standard sidereal rate, but the PMC-Eight doesn't send any more commands. Once it goes to track mode, it sends the track command. It says go to this rate, and then it no longer sends commands to change the rate or to do anything. It's just querying for the position data, and that's all it's getting. So the reason it does a meridian flip in point mode is because it's continually pointing to the object in that mode, where it's calculating a new position and saying go here, go here. So it's like little tiny slews. That's exactly what it is. It's like a little tiny slew.
Oh, I see.
And then when it detects that it's slewing past the meridian, it says, "Oh, I need to do a peer flip." So that's why it automatically does a peer flip when you're doing that.
Right.
So that's a trick to keep it from doing a meridian flip, is to go to track
as
mode.
you're like so many minutes into your exposure and
Right.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right.
so then you can control when it happens between exposures.
Right.
Is the
Right.
plan, right? Just
That's
be able to
yeah.
control.
People yeah. There really is no way to do it early, but you can do it late.
So you'd wait 10 or 15 minutes after, whenever you get to a good stopping point, and then just execute a new go-to.
Or just go to point mode.
Okay. Yeah. Toggle to point,
And it'll
flip
try
it
to go to
around.
that target
Yes.
again.
Yes. Okay. And it'll know to do the meridian flip and go.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That's a nice little Easter egg feature.
Right.
Unplanned.
Kind of built in.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the behavior because of the way we built it. I don't think that specific feature was designed in, but that's just the behavior of the system because of the way we built it.
Oh, and everybody, please, share this in your friend streams and on your groups. Help us build audience for these shows. If you'll go and share it to your friends or your timeline and talk this up, we can build audience and expand the reach of this show. We'd appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Yep. Expand the OpenGOTO community.
That's right. And we can
Gary Palmer just asked, can a future update have an hour past meridian flip?
So we're kind of reticent in ExploreStars to add a lot of features that astrophotographers would need, because that's really not what the purpose of the ExploreStars application is.
Yeah, people keep wanting ExploreStars to be an astrophotography app.
Right.
Yeah, it's a visual.
Now, that's not to say in the future we may release another version or another updated system that will have these features.
Right.
That's kind of a little teaser, but this version of ExploreStars is probably not going to have that those features added. Said you left.
Okay. Now, another one was a report of a Slew 2 button showing an object below horizon on Amazon Fire HD.
Yeah, so this is an interesting feature, and I talked to Dan Dickerson about it. So the user found that when he called up an object in the catalogs, that typically if you click on an object that says below horizon, the Slew button is not there. It shouldn't be there. But he was saying when things were showing up, when he clicked on an item that was below the horizon, it had the Slew button there as if you could go to it, which is not correct. So we weren't sure, and he said it's on his Amazon Fire HD, and we haven't had a report of this on the standard other tablets that run Android. So there's nothing different about the Android code on the Amazon Fire HD or on the Galaxy Tab A or any other Android device. They're all the same as far as the code goes. It's the same thing. So the only thing that might be different, and we asked them to check this, Dan, I talked to Dan about it, and he suggested that we get the details on the time, date, what object he was selecting, all the specific parameters that created that behavior, to see if he could repeat it. And if it's repeatable and we can set up a configuration in terms of time, date, longitude, latitude, object to select, all that stuff, and we can repeat it, then we can find what the problem is. But I haven't heard anything back, and I'm just wondering if it really is repeatable or if it was some one-off thing. We need to find the instance of where it happens.
We really need to know the time it happened, what were all the settings in the app at that time, in order for us to reproduce the problem. Because if we fire it up here and everything looks hunky-dory, then
there's not a lot we can do.
We don't have much to go on, so.
And we face that a lot. We'll have somebody call and say, my mount's not working.
My mount's not working.
Okay. And so we launched
I told a mechanic that about my car one time. My truck's not working.
And what did he tell you? Diagnostics are $80 an hour, and I'll start.
Right.
And I'll tell you what's wrong.
So and that
actually, that's what a mechanic. That's like music to a mechanic's ears, right? Yeah. Bring it in. We'll figure it out.
Great. We'll figure out all the things that are wrong.
Yeah. And
all the things.
And then Scott will say, "But you didn't fix the horn."
Oh, that's right. That was the only thing I knew was wrong with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but we always are asking for test images. Yep. What exactly were you doing? Send us pictures of how you've got your field flattener and cameras arranged. It always helps to have as much data as you can ready for us. It speeds up the diagnostic process.
Yes, right. That's right. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Anything from your side, Kent?
Yeah, we've got one. And I was looking at it a little while ago. On Mondays are generally pretty busy trying to catch up for all the cases and emails we get over the weekend. So don't have much time to focus on the users group much on Mondays. But Jerry, you may have paid a little bit more attention to this. Steve Romero says he got Stellarium to work on his Mac through an interesting little process. What did he do?
So I think he got, he had to use the Indy driver, and I have to go back and look at that thread. I don't really remember the details, to tell you the truth. I remember seeing that message. Do you have it there?
No, it's Steve Romero. I can find him.
I'm trying to think. So Mac OS, it should work because the Indy drivers are available to run not only on a Mac OS, on the Linux, but also on Mac OS. And there's a server, an Indy server for Mac OS that you have to download. That's probably what he's talking about that he did. I actually had it running on a virtual machine about a year and a half ago, on a Mac OS virtual machine on my laptop, and you have to run or download the Indy server for Mac OS, and then you can go get the drivers for the Indy drivers that are available to load onto that server, and at that point you can just connect up just like any other system.
Hey Jerry, Steven Romero is logged on, and he says he used the K-Stars as a bridge, and your comment is correct. The server is K-Stars. It's message number 7038.
Okay. Yeah, so K-Stars has a built-in server that allows you to load up Indy drivers. It sounds like I was using a separate program that was a standalone Indy driver or Indy server that was part of the Indy platform, I think. Yeah, but K-Stars apparently has built that in.
So what is K-Stars?
K-Stars is a planetarium program, much like Carte de Ciel or Stellarium. I've actually used it a little bit. It may have some other things in there to deal with controlling your camera and stuff and observatory equipment. I'm not sure. But it's very similar to the other apps that are available on Windows, but it's available on all three platforms: Mac OS, Linux, and on Windows.
We're starting to see more Mac traffic a little bit on the website. It might be worth having Steve on a future episode to show what he does.
Yeah, we've had a few customers. We could put out a survey and see how many customers have actually running PMC-Eight on the Mac OS system.
Yeah, let's do that. Because I know we have a few. We talked about 4 or 5 was our guess, but I know we've seen more people who said that they were, previously Mac centric and would love to be able to do it. And the reality is that there's just not a lot out there for us.
Right. So yeah, we can put out a poll. I'll probably create it later to ask what operating system are you using to run your PMC-Eight mount.
And he says he's going to do a write-up with screenshots and diagrams.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
Great.
That's awesome.
So,
so do we have any new images, anything new like that happening on the forum? Anything?
Yeah, there was one beautiful one that came in. Let me find it real quick.
Yeah, I think Wes really liked it a lot. He says he had a typo. Instead of saying sweet, when he responded, he said sweat.
Sweat? That would be something I would do.
Yeah, he's like hyperventilating because he likes it too much.
Jerry, you can probably find it quicker than I can. It's on the Exos 100 thread at the very bottom.
Okay, let me look here. Groups. On the Exos 100 beginner subgroup?
Yeah. No, it's on the main.
Oh, it's under the images thing.
Yeah, and it's on.
All right.
It's on page 12. No, that wasn't it. Hang on. Is that it?
It's under the astrophotography done with Exos 100. And it's in that.
I think so.
Yeah, let me get to that.
Go to the bottom. There's a Veil Nebula. Yeah, that's where he put sweat. Yeah, it was the Veil Nebula one.
I'm missing that. That's not in the astrophotography group.
It's in the ESPN main.
Are you seeing it, Ken? Why did you share your screen?
Because I'm on my work computer, not your laptop.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I'll get it.
So it's on the main forum.
Okay.
Astrophotography done with the Exos 100.
Bergman Scooter just logged on. Hello, everybody.
So I looked at the very end of that thread. I didn't see it.
It's on page 12. It's
page 12?
Yep, it's on page 12. It's message number.
Oh, okay, I didn't go far enough. That's what it is.
Message number 7000.
I've thrown these guys a curveball.
Okay, yeah. I see it.
Mike Wiesner says, thanks, Stephen. I hear from many Mac-based telescope users.
All right, we got a thunderstorm coming here. I don't know if you can hear it in the background.
Yeah, I heard that.
All right, I'm
going to
tomorrow
share my screen.
I can't join because we shall become clear sky. So I'll use the time to make images, make pictures. That sounds like a good idea. Oh, here it is. Wow, that looks cool.
That's
What's
David
the details
Cherry.
on this one?
Huh?
Is there any details of?
Yeah, it's in. Can you read it?
Got it? Yeah, I've got it. It's a Skywatcher 200 PDS. Skywatcher. Oh, those are scopes he has.
Okay.
Exos 2 mount. ASI 294 MC Pro cooled, an Altair guide camera, a 50 millimeter scope, Sharp Cat Pro PhD2, and Stellarium Star Tools.
And mounted on which mount?
Exos 2 with PMC-Eight.
Oh, okay. Wow. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me zoom up on it. You can see how tight the stars are there.
Oh, yeah.
Let's pixel peep. Come on, let's pixel peep.
Yeah.
Pixel peep.
I don't think I can get any. I don't think I can. I have to load it into a separate program to look at it closer. That's full size right there. I mean, that's full resolution.
Yeah,
right there.
it's very nice.
Yeah. So, Jerry, go back to Daniel Birdziak's next to the last image, M81, M82. He's got a really nice image there. That one right there. That's a Rebel T6, unguided on an Exos 100.
Let me see if I can zoom up on it here. Oops, I got really big.
Yep. That's an Exos 100 unguided image. 60-second exposures.
That's unguided. That's good.
That's unguided 1 minute exposures. 100 1 minute exposures with additional 25 lights, darks, bias, and flats at ISO 800 f 6.3. And here's the impressive part: a 75 to 300 millimeter kit lens at 300 millimeters.
Yeah,
this is just a straight Rebel kit with just a kit lens.
Yeah, that's great.
And if you notice, check out the little galaxies in there he's got.
Yeah, there's one here. Can you see my cursor?
Yes.
Let's see.
There's one if you scroll up just a little bit, just out of the frame. There it is right there. That one, and there's one off to the right a little bit. It's a tiny little thing. There's a couple other tiny little things in there. They look like stars, but they're sort of oblong. Those are all galaxies.
This one right here.
Yep.
Kind of fuzzy looking on the edges.
Yep. And
this one too is kind of fuzzy.
There's one down there below M81 or M82, Cigar Galaxy. Bottom to the right, right there.
Yep. Cool. That's a great image.
That's a well-framed image right there. Good job, Daniel.
Hey, Jerry, a gentleman on YouTube is asking, Edwin's asking, what's better, to have 100 images of 3 minutes or 300 images of 1 minute for processing?
So you want to get longest exposures you can because the cameras are such that I need to brighten my face up. It's getting dark.
Yeah, it's dark in there.
That's because the storm is coming through. I'll fix that. But so traditionally, you get long exposures because the cameras back in the day, even 5 to 10 years ago, had a lot of readout noise.
A lot of noise.
So you want to minimize the number of frames because the readout noise adds into your noise. But today's cameras allow you to do
shorter exposures
and not pick up so much noise anymore. In fact, some people don't even bother to do bias frames anymore on their cameras because of these very low noise CMOS cameras. And and also one of the things is you needed to have very good skies if you wanted to go long exposures, 3 minute exposures. You needed very good transparency where you don't need that. It's going to start. You hear that in the background?
Is that hail?
It's rain.
Oh, okay.
There's a skylight above me. That's what it is. It's hitting the skylight. So that's what that is. But again, if you do longer exposures, it's kind of putting all your eggs in one basket where you might have problems within an individual frame with clouds or something, or it may trail or something. So again, it might be better with today's cameras and equipment to do 1-minute exposures.
Right. Bill Black says that sky brightness will limit the exposure time. And Gary Palmer is advising, depends on the computer speed, 300 images could take all night to process.
Yeah, that's the other trade-off side is you got a lot more disk space. If you do more images, you got a lot more disk space it takes up. That's why it's important to get critically sampled on your images.
Yep. And Richard Grace is asking on YouTube, where would I post an image?
So I was just replying back to him saying, Richard,
Okay.
on this forum, he also asked, somebody asked, what is this forum? I think that was him. We're talking specifically about the PMC-8 users, which you may or may not be using that system. However, we'd love to see your pictures. You can email them to service@explorescientific.com. I'm getting ready to post that in the comments. Scotty, have place else you have to post them?
Let's get him on the. You tell him to go to groups.io to do that.
I would, if he's got a PMC-8, if he's a PMC-8 user, he can.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he has or not, but I will post that link to that group right now.
Okay.
And there it is. That's the link to the group.
It's really raining hard here. I don't know if you can hear that. We've just got some thunder.
Yeah, we can hear it.
Was that guy, your next door neighbor, building a great big ship and collecting 2 of each animal? What was that guy?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's an open lot down the street
crazy
that this
nut.
guy's building something.
So
he's holding up.
It's about 300. It's about 300 cubits long. It's about 300 cubits long.
Telling us the error of our ways. That's right.
So Wolfgang in Germany says, at our observatory, we only do flats and biases because the darks produce too much noise. Jerry, you got any insight, or is the...
Well, that's the thing. That's the other side of it. The cooling systems that are on the cameras today are very good, and typically you don't need to go down much below minus 20 degrees Celsius. I've run cameras down to minus 30 degrees in the wintertime, but the noise is so low in the darks when you get down to minus 20 degrees with today's, again, with the CMOS chips that people can almost go without calibrating in terms of darks and biases and just use a flat if they have a lot of dust donuts and things, vignetting.
Yeah.
So Jerry, when you say minus 20, does that mean 20 below zero, 20 below Celsius, or 20 below ambient?
20 below Celsius. It's 20 degrees in Celsius.
But
minus 20.
So it's not 20 degrees below ambient. I mean, so it's cold.
No. You said an actual temperature in the cooling. Now, the older cameras that just have a cooling system that just you turned on, you didn't have a temperature setting, it would go down maybe 20 to 25 degrees below ambient. But on today's system, you set a temperature that you want to go to. So that's why you have to change the temperature depending on the season. When you do, so in the winter, spring, and fall, or winter, spring, and summer, we have different temperatures that we set up on our observatory cameras.
So you cool them more in the wintertime or the summertime?
Well, you can get, no, the differential, the delta T you can get is the same. So it's from minus 30 or 30 degrees to 40 degrees Celsius is the delta T that you can typically get. The delta temperature in Celsius. So you set it that way with the ambient. You don't set the delta T. You set the actual temperature. So you have to calculate what that would be. Looks like Kent dropped off again.
Did he? Did we lose him? Yeah.
Yeah, he dropped off earlier and came back.
Question to Richard Grace. He wanted to know where to send his images. images to. Oh, and I lost. Well, good Lord. We lost everybody here. There we go. You had an excuse. You had lightning, right?
Yeah, I don't know if that caused it, but my computer, well, maybe my, no, my network didn't go down or anything, so I don't know why I dropped off.
Right.
Kent's not coming back?
I don't know. I don't know. May have a computer problem. Not sure.
Yeah. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, I don't know that we do have. Scott, you should run. Bill Black. It's nice weather here in Arkansas. This is out where Jerry is in Virginia. So, yeah.
Yeah, go look at the radar in Virginia. I haven't looked at it, but I'm sure it's just
I'm sure
a
it
big
looks
storm.
nasty. Yeah, right. Well, I think that we're kind of wrapped up for today. We'll be back on tomorrow. We'll be back on tomorrow at 4 o'clock, and we had to run about half an hour later today. I should have added even a little bit more time, so I was a little bit better prepared for the show today. But anyways, it was great to have all of you join us today, as always. And you guys keep looking up, and we'll see you 4 Central tomorrow. And anything else that you want to add, Jerry?
No, just keep looking at try to participate in the forum. I like it's good to see beginners come on, but these old timers on the forum, not in age, but in terms of how long they've been a member.
Not
You know,
age.
we got a few people that are basically contribute, but it'd be great to see others chime in and contribute also.
We do have a question that's just come in here from Amy the Astro. Scott, Jerry, do you do astrophotography? Jerry does science imaging quite a bit. I have done astrophotography on and off, and I've been published before. But Jerry is he's on a campaign with the Mark Slade Remote Observatory, and they already have a exoplanet discovery under their belt. So, Jerry, you still with us? Huh? It's just me. Okay. I think Jerry had another lightning hit. So, but you want to know how much integration is the most you've done on a target? Most of Jerry's images are not that long. Okay, Amy, I think that you're looking at these hours-long immigration. Are you back with me again? You're muted. You have to.
Kent called I answered Kent's call.
Oh, okay.
Because he was trying to call in here, and I thought it was a join thing for all of us, and it wasn't.
It wasn't. Oh, I see. I see. Well, I can add Kent. Let's see. What's the longest exposure integration you've done, Jerry?
So we try to tune our observatory mount G11 with PMC telescope drive master. We try to tune it for the polar alignment so we can get 5-minute exposures.
Mm-hmm.
And for the work that I do, 5 minutes is more than enough because we don't do narrowband. We do fairly broadband imaging. And our location, the sky just starts to get too bright after 5 minutes because we're not in the most best skies. We're in a suburban backyard that's got Bortle. I don't know what the Bortle scale is, maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So if you go, I've done 10-minute exposures to test the polar alignment to see how steady it is.
See if you got any
with the drift, and we've nailed it there. But the sky gets to be so bright, you can almost do flat. They're called sky flats when you do them
mm-hmm.
in the middle of the night. and you got a bright sky, well, especially if the moon's up, you can do flats in the middle of the night by exposing for a long time because the sky just is so bright.
You do your own flats. Um, Amy's wanting to know, do you know of any hypertune services for the Exos 2 mounts?
I think there are various services out there that do a lot of different mounts. I've seen them. I can't remember the company now that does hyper tuning. That's a big one. But they do LXD75 mounts, which is the same identical mount as the
Right.
Exos 2.
Yeah, I remember.
So I would look for, if you look at hyper tuning LXD75, then you might find something that might work for you.
Yeah. I mean, a disclaimer, obviously these third-party hypertune services I'm sure would do a great job, but it's not warranty work from us. So, but if you have a problem with your mount, that you think that we should address, then certainly get with us and we can take care of it. So.
Right, but also we support the owners doing their own maintenance also.
It's true.
If you find Bob Hoskins has posted a great document on the forum.
Yeah, I don't give that warning about third-party guys because it would void your warranty. Okay, it won't, because you have a no-fault warranty on the product. So, okay, all right, guys. Thank you very much, and we will see you tomorrow. Keep looking up.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
I'll see you later. Bye-bye.